A little warmer here. Yeah.
That's good?
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Congratulations. Where's Patrick? Patrick, you're up, man. You're up to bat. Let's go. Patrick Boylan, everybody. Congratulations. Thank you.
Good morning. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Governor Murphy for taking the time to host this ceremony today, and everyone for attending the graduation ceremony for New Jersey Transit Locomotive Engineer Training Program, Class 1901. My name is Patrick Boylan, and I'm proud to be a member of Class 1901. It is my honor to be the guest speaker for today's ceremony, and I'd like to thank New Jersey Transit and especially my instructor, Brian Ritter, for giving me this opportunity. A bit about myself: I knew I wanted to be a locomotive engineer from a young age. Growing up, I'd hear the train horn on a summer evening and know that my neighbor's dad would be walking home from the train station soon. That's what we do. We bring people to work, and at the end of the day, we bring them home. Later in life, I started taking that same train to high school. Any chance I got, I'd ask the crew how everything worked and how to become a locomotive engineer when I got older. At 19 years old, I enlisted in the United States Air Force and served 6 years providing missile security at one of our nation's missile bases. When I entered the Locomotive Engineer Training Program, I was surprised to see how many similarities there were between becoming a locomotive engineer and missile security. These two jobs are seemingly nothing alike, and yet both engineers and missile security need to be subject matter experts in their field. Both engineers and missile security need to be alert at all times. Both jobs require a lot of memorization and memory recall. Certain rules and definitions need to be memorized verbatim, or else they could lead to a safety hazard. Lastly, these two jobs are similar because they both work 24/7 through all types of weather and environmental challenges to complete the mission in a safe manner. Instead of protecting our nation's missile deterrence, my new mission has become a promise to my crew and passengers that I will get them where they need to go and to the best of my ability, safely and on time. In front of us is LETP Class 1901. They are the product of almost 2 years of training, and I couldn't have been part of a better group of students. They're some of the brightest people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. They come from a diverse background. We have some prior railroad workers, former mechanics, a forestry firefighter, EMTs, prior and current military, a physical therapist, and we even have a former postman to help keep us moving through snow or rain or gloom of night. This class has come together as a team, time and time again, to help each other study, to challenge each other with questions, and to pass on the knowledge they have on subjects they're familiar with and what they learned during their riding and train handling assignments. Every person in this class has helped the whole group succeed in their own way. I want to thank all of our friends, family, and significant others for standing by us and being so understanding of the amount of time we had to dedicate to studying and the various round-the-clock hours we had to work during train handling and will continue to work throughout our careers. Last but not least, Class 1901 and I would like to thank our instructors. When I was in the military, we had a saying: the more blood, sweat, and tears spent in training, the less blood, sweat, and tears spent in combat. Our instructors were tough, yet fair. The more we got to know them, the more we realized how much time, thought, and effort they put into training us. When we had class with our instructor, Lamont Sims, he had a saying, "Study everything." Anyone who knows how thick our books are knows this is a broad statement. But Lamont was preparing us for our future roles as engineers. He taught us this simply means, be prepared to handle whatever comes before you. We'd also like to thank Brian Ritter for instructing us and for coordinating our train handling assignments. Brian is the type of guy who, when no one else knows, Brian either knows it or knows where to find out. We worked with Matt Noel on special assignment. Matt used his experience as a road foreman to go over current events and to teach us real-life applications of the rules we were learning. In 1B, we had Steve Fetko and Scott Carter. Steve taught us in depth the inner workings of the locomotives, while Scott went over where everything was on the equipment with us. During the uncertain times when the COVID-19 pandemic was still in its early stages, instructor Jessica Theophalt provided the class with remote, scenario-based training. She helped keep our rules knowledge fresh through the pandemic. Other instructors we'd like to mention is Kenneth Madge and Tamara Williams for their assistance with the class during exam times. We'd also like to thank every instructor engineer we had the pleasure of working with who mentored us and allowed us to hone our skills during train handling. To everyone, thank you again, and congratulations to my classmates, Class 1901.
Thank you. Let's hear it for Patrick Boylan one more time. Patrick, thank you for speaking so eloquently on behalf of your esteemed classmates. Thank you for your service to our nation. And on behalf of all of us up here, Diane, Kevin, and myself, and through you to each of your 16 classmates here today, thank you for stepping up to be part of the transformation of NJ Transit. And congratulations on reaching this milestone in your new careers. I mentioned their names, but I want to repeat that I am honored to be here today with NJ Transit President and CEO, Kevin Corbett. Kevin, great to have you with us. And Department of Transportation Commissioner and the Chair of the Board of NJ Transit, Diane Gutierrez Scachetti. Bless you. I also want to give a shout out, as Patrick did, to the tremendous training center staff. I want to give a shout out to that guy right there, who's an extraordinary leader in this state, the chair of the Senate Transportation Committee, Senator Pat Dygnan, Middlesex County Zone. And we don't get here today without our brothers and sisters in organized labor. We have with us, at a minimum, two great leaders, Smart TD Local 60 President and dear friend Jerome Johnson. Jerome, love you and bless you. As well as the Smart Chair on the engineering side, Local 800, Joe Williams. Joe, great to have you with us as well. Before I make a few brief remarks about how thrilled I am to be with this esteemed class, I want to just give a quick update on the pandemic. Unfortunately, as we had predicted, it gets worse before it gets better. It will get better. There's no question about it. Joe, your wife is getting a shot today as a healthcare worker. Your daughter, another healthcare worker, has gotten it. There are well over 100,000 people who have gotten this vaccination, but it's going to be a while till we're out of the woods. So today, statewide, 5,400 new positive cases, 138 confirmed losses of life from our extraordinary New Jersey family. Total hospitalizations, and that's the number we watch like a hawk. We cannot allow our hospitals to be overrun. Are up a little, 3,702. 365 people went in the hospital yesterday. 271 live folks left. The positivity rate is over 15%. In fairness, that was as of tests taken on January 1st, so that's going to be an anomalous day. The rate of transmission continues to be under 1, and that's a good thing. And Pat, you know this, Middlesex County has paid a huge price. Invariably, when we look at positive cases, fatalities, or other metrics, Middlesex County, which is right in the center of the state, a heartbeat of New Jersey, where we are right this very minute, has been invariably on the list. So 500 of those 5,400 cases, just over 10% of them from Middlesex County, for a total of over 47,000 folks in this county who have been infected or tested positively. Today's fatalities, 16 of whom from Middlesex County, and that's a total of almost 1,500 losses of life in this extraordinary county. So please keep everybody in your prayers and keep your guard up. The vaccines are real. They're going to take more and more effect as time goes on, but we have to bridge ourselves over the next number of weeks, if not a couple of months. So back to the happy topic of why we're here today. Without a shared commitment to rebuilding the ranks of NJ Transit's engineer corps, we would not be here today. Today marks the 6th time I've had the privilege, I think you guys have been with me every step of the way, to see a group of newly trained prospective engineers out of the classroom and into those final check rides and field tests. That's a total of 94 new engineers in all. Because of the hard work of the training center team, I know you are not only ready for this final test, but like those who have gone before you, that you'll pass it with ease. And because of the model you are setting for those who will come behind you, I look forward to being able to see the 82 engineer prospects in training right now in the 6 classes we have running concurrently to do the same. You are an integral part of our 3-year effort to turn NJ Transit around, to improve on-time performance and responsiveness, to restore the faith of NJ Transit's customers, and enhance the pride of all who work the rails. And we have made tremendous strides. Just a couple of weeks ago, Kevin, Diane, Jerome, you were with us, and some other dignitaries celebrated the federal government's certification of NJ Transit's so-called positive train control system. That was something that no one thought would happen, given that the project was woefully behind schedule at the start of our administration. And yours is the first graduating class into this fully compliant and certified system. By the way, it's a fancy title, and you all know this because you've been living on it. It means that we have a safe system that the federal government has certified. And that's something we should all wear as a badge of honor. So when we set our goal of restoring NJ Transit's engineer ranks, there were a lot of people who, by the way, the same with positive train control, didn't think we'd be able to build back so quickly. And yet here we are, 17 new engineers today, 94 in 3 years, and 82 more coming behind. We're proving that with the right team and the right dedication, we can once again make NJ Transit a national model for safe, accessible, and well-run mass transit. Obviously, we are undertaking this challenging work together, as I mentioned at the outset, at a challenging time for our state, our country, our families. And I would put NJ Transit together as a family in every sense of that word. And our commitment to protecting you and our colleagues as frontline workers is unwavering. On so many levels, we are working to defeat this virus and get our state and our economy not just back to where we want it to be, but beyond that to where we know it can be. And NJ Transit is incredibly critical as a central element of that future. I ask you to do your part to create a new culture of success at NJ Transit. I ask you to treat every customer, as I know you will, that you carry to work or to school, or when the time comes again to a show or a sporting event, as a member of your own, very own family. Because after all, they are also that. They're part of your New Jersey family. They deserve our very best. In return, in whatever way we can fight for you and for those residents and commuters you will serve, we will do it. I know the job you have signed up for and now have been trained for is not easy. No 2 days will be the same. You never know what awaits you down the tracks when you step into the cab. But do know this, everyone here has your backs, and everyone here thanks you for stepping forward to serve. And I know that faith is well placed. You have proven that you're ready. And I again thank you for answering the call to be part of the future of NJ Transit and for allowing me to be a part of your day. I also once again thank the tremendous training staff. I once again thank our partners in labor for their commitment to growing their ranks and in building NJ Transit's future. And I once again thank everyone working to restore NJ Transit's place as a national model. And I have to say, before I hand the podium over to Diane, I had a really encouraging, very specific call yesterday with Transportation Secretary-designate, former Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And we spoke really about two things. One is I wanted to make sure he understood the depth and uniqueness of NJ Transit as the third largest rail and bus system in the country, as the largest statewide system, as an integral part, not just to get around our state, but to get to two of the top 5 cities in our country, New York and Philadelphia. So that was a really good part of the conversation. And secondly, we talked about the Gateway project, which you all know is a game changer. It's been delayed for too long. We finally got approval for the so-called Portal North Bridge. That's finally going to come to life, and that's a good thing. But there's a lot more that we could do together with the federal government. And I found the Secretary-designate to be extremely alive, interested, passionate about working with us. And that was a good way to segue into from one great leader, Pete Buttigieg, to another. Please help me welcome, I don't know where we'd be without her, whether as it relates to NJ Transit or the entire infrastructure of our state. When you're the densest state in the nation, you live and die by transportation. And we have the best transportation secretary in the country. Please help me welcome the Department of Transportation's head and the chair of the NJ Transit's board, Diane Gutierrez-Scicchetti.
Thank you, Governor. I join with the Governor today and the entire leadership team and board of New Jersey Transit in celebrating this new chapter in your professional lives. It was very interesting, Patrick, to listen to the walks of lives you all came from. But today you join a new family, a family where we work hard together, we stick together, and we continue to go through the work to transform New Jersey Transit back to the national model that we had been known for. Over 10 years, we lost tremendous ground. But as your class comes on board, we become that much closer to be able to provide the on-time service that our customers expect of us. It is a big responsibility. But the Governor's words said it all. The importance of your role in the lives of so many cannot be overstated. You carry frontline workers to hospitals and grocery stores. You carry caregivers to their patients. And when the world returns to its normal sense, I hope, you will carry people back to their daily routine. I am truly grateful for your dedication to learning this craft. I am impressed by your commitment to follow through in some of the most difficult times. And as the Governor said, operate as a team. Patrick, I believe you pointed that out in your remarks too. As a team, we have your back. Welcome to the New Jersey Transit family. Thanks, Gov.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Diane. And thank you for all you do. You know, it's hard sometimes to remember how far we've come, but remember, as you all know, and you all are joining the ranks, the NJ Transit reality that we inherited was a lessening of the numbers of engineers in the ranks, such that we had very few degrees of freedom. So when anybody was rightfully took a vacation or was sick, we were running too close to the bone. And you are yet another wave of the bullpen that we had promised we would deliver, and thanks to you, we are. Diane, again, thank you for leadership. Please help me welcome another terrific leader, the President and CEO of NJ Transit, Kevin Corbett.
Good morning, everyone. I cannot thank enough Governor Murphy and Commissioner Gutierrez-Scicchetti for all the support they give New Jersey Transit, for me personally as well as the whole organization. It really is a family, Diane, and you certainly are the head of it, along with the Governor. It's also great, though. Also, would like to also tip my hat as well to Senator Diane. Pat, you have been a great supporter in the legislature, very much appreciated. And of course, Jerome, great to have you guys today. And as always, great working together through all we've been through the last few years. And it has not been easy for all of us, that's for sure. I think celebrating as Patrick, thanks for your opening. I want to thank you as well. The fact that you have Air Force background, that's good. That's good. Navy, that's all right. If you were Marine, I don't think you would have been able to get through the screening test. We try to screen out the Marines. Tell that to my son. When you look at the rigorous training and you rightly addressed all the mentors you had in the program, it really is a milestone that a lot of people don't realize how challenging it is, and it was only made that much more challenging with the circumstances of COVID. I think, as the governor alluded to, and the commissioner, when we arrived nearly 3 years ago and began to recruit, we started, as the governor alluded to, 11 locomotive engineering training classes, 5 in 2018, 3 in 2019, and another 3 in 2020. Compare that to just 10 classes, that's 11. Compare that to just 10 classes that were started during the previous 7 years in total. Once the class is fully qualified, as the governor said, that we will have added 94 new locomotive engineers, and if you figure on average, you're going to do 4 trips each call. So, think of the number of trains that don't go out and that we were not getting out when we did not have the engineers. And again, we're right now a net gain of 55, as the governor says. We are on our goal is 390, and we're on track to do that with our next graduating classes. And to borrow a phrase from the governor, there's no spiking of the football. Even when we have the full roster, we're going to make sure that we maintain a full pipeline of trainees, that we don't let our guard down that has been done in the past. And in fact, we have another class of 24 trainees set to begin on February 10th to replace those who, naturally are going to retire at a certain stage. Which gets me on the way to work this morning to Newark. I was on 6610, where pretty much my regular train, and talking to the crew, and mentioned today's event, and about one of the engineers of the class of 1801 who's working on the Hoboken division. And when we started talking about what the conditions were like nearly 3 years ago, and looking at what you're entering now, it made us both joke that we're beginning to sound like Jethro Strunk. They really started to feel old. Governor, commissioner, graduates, as we stand here today on the cusp of a full roster of engineers, I think of where we were in March of 2018 when that first of 5 classes, 1801, began that year. This is, as we look now, as the joke I made to 16010, I may be feeling old, but I'm feeling old and happy. And I really am happy because all of you will be certified as engineers at probably is the most exciting time for New Jersey Transit, and a very different organization, as the governor alluded to, than what we joined 3 years ago. I think when you look at when we started with 1801 in March of 2018, most people thought, as the governor touched on, had absolutely no chance of making the federally mandated PTC interim milestone of installation by December 2018, never mind the December 31st, 2020 deadline of full PTC certification. That was viewed as a pure fantasy. There was certainly no relief in sight for our aging 40 to 50-year-old rail cars and locomotives. And today we have 25 dual-mode locomotives on order, with the first arriving later this month. And in 2 years, we begin taking delivery of 113 new self-propelled multi-level rail cars. Back then, New Jersey Transit did not have a 5-year capital plan or a 10-year strategic plan. Back in March of 2018, many long-stalled capital projects were still on the planning board at best. In 2017, New Jersey Transit had just $60 million of hard money construction contracts on the street. Today, despite the many challenges of responding to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are currently advancing more than $4 billion in construction work out of our $17 billion capital plan. And I know while many of you were out on the rails conducting your field training, you saw some of those projects currently under construction. To name a few: the Raritan River Bridge, the long slip fill and enhancement project down in Hoboken, the County Yard Delco Lead Storage and Inspection Facility in New Brunswick, Elizabeth, Perth Amboy stations, to name just a few. And of course, as the governor touched on, the $1.8 billion Portal North Bridge, which we'll soon have the full funding grant agreement with shovels in the ground later this year. All these projects will not only direct benefit all of you graduates by significantly improving the infrastructure you'll be traversing every day, they will also allow New Jersey Transit to play a significant role in New Jersey's economic recovery following the pandemic. So all of you graduating this class should be extremely proud to be a part of New Jersey Transit at what I would consider is the most exciting time in the agency's history. And don't ever forget the critical role you will have in delivering the first-class service our customers deserve. I want to congratulate you all again on this great achievement. And now I'd like to take the opportunity to recognize all of you individually. When I call your name, please stand and give a little wave so we can all see you, and then you can be seated. After I call the name of our last student, I'll ask the governor to come back to the podium for some closing remarks. And as soon as the governor concludes his remarks, I'll ask all of you to stand in front of your seats with your certificates in hand for an appropriately distanced group photo. So let's begin with the honorees. First, George Bond IV. Patrick Boylan, want to take a bow again? Walter Camacho. John Cambria. Nico Cortez. Raheem Coyne. Donald Gaglione. Ramon Garcia. Yakante Hare. Yoichi Hishiyama. Jason Isabella. John Lightbourne IV. Michael Lindenmuth. Taylor Milnicki. Jefferson Reyes. And last, but certainly not least, Jesse Stone.
Skip somebody, the gentleman and the fourth person down behind the guy.
Okay. Did I miss? Sorry, Joe. Yep. And now, Governor, back to you.
Thank you, Kevin. You know, we knew, and by the way, the men and women who work at NJ Transit went in every day and did their very best, even in those dark years that preceded us. We have to reiterate that. This was not their fault. In fact, if anything, they made a bad situation as good as it could be. But when we came into office, we knew we had to fix NJ Transit. That we knew. We did not expect a pandemic. And I wouldn't say this is in any way a silver lining, but I do want to acknowledge that during 10 months of a pandemic, you all are graduated. Other classes have graduated. We're buying the capital stock that Kevin talked about. There's a capital plan. There's a strategic plan. There's the achievement of positive train control. And I would just say we will get back to normal, Diane. As you said, we're going to get back to going to shows and ball games and some semblance of normalcy. It won't be right away, and it won't be exactly probably what it used to be, but we'll be getting back largely to doing the stuff we used to do. And when we do, you all will be there leading for us, and the passengers will see an NJ Transit unlike anything they've ever seen before. And that's our commitment. So Diane and Kevin, thank you. Pat, bless you, and thank you. Jerome and Joe, to each of you. To the members of this extraordinary class, congratulations. Let's go down and take a class picture. Thank you all. Everybody, thumbs up here.